right, hey, VC Jeff here again. Time for yet another contest. I figured I'd make a couple of these in a row here. This one is for Angel over at Shamgar's Music Sanctuary. It's a new one to the VC, so check him out. And yes, so he's looking for, he wants you to take your favorite sports team and then, you know, take the letters from those names and show albums based on that. Now, my biggest problem is I have no favorite sports team. I am really just not into sports. Never have been, never been much. I mean, I can sit and watch football occasionally, but I am clueless when it comes to sports. And so I'm winging it. Basically, I'm going to go back to when I was in high school and I tinkered with the idea of being into sports. So don't hold me accountable for this now. I don't know the stats of any of these teams today. And so I'm just telling you, and I'm going to tell you why. When I was a teenager, I used to like the Chargers. Why? I love this lightning bolt on their helmet. The blue and the lightning bolt, that was just, to me, cool looking. I had a Brett Favre poster in my room because I thought, you know, they were a cool team just basically on the way they looked. I don't know anything about how they played. Never been a fan of following these people, how they play and everything. Back in the 90s, I did go to an actual football game, a real live football game. I saw the Eagles and the Giants at a football field in New Jersey. I was living in New York at the time. My friend was in Connecticut. They got tickets. We drove over, took a road trip to New Jersey. Went out there and went to that. It was on TV and everything. You know, we had to watch the commercials. The game would stop. They'd do the commercials and they'd start the game again. It was a great game, though. It went into overtime. So I just remember that. That was my one and only experience with professional football, was going to that game way back in the 90s. So I'm going with the Chargers. It's the one team that I used to connect to, and it gave me a lot of letters to work with here. So, and then what I'm doing with this, so Chargers, you know, spelled out, is I'm going with slightly more obscure and a lot of diversity. I tried to go for a little more diversity in the music between all the different letters. So let's get into this. C, Crushing the Deceiver. This is like straight up thrashy death metal band. So, you know, I don't show a lot of the more extreme metal, but here's one for you. Crushing the Deceiver. Recently, you know, fairly recent release, and a recent vinyl release too. So extreme metal there. H, Head, Brian Head Welch from Korn. Modern, whatever you want to call it, modern music, good stuff. And then he went on after this to do The Love and Death, which is really some killer stuff. But here's his first solo album, Save Me From Myself. There, Brian from Korn. Ancestor, Omen, straight up death metal, just black metal, I guess. It's just whatever. If you're familiar with Ancestor, I've got quite a bit of their stuff on digital format. This is the only one I have on vinyl. So CHAR, Rose, Songs for the Ritually Abused. This album came out a couple years ago. Randy Rose, the singer, drummer, he was with Mad at the World, then he went solo. He's done a lot of stuff under the name Randy Rose, under the name Rose as a band. His newest album just dropped a couple weeks ago, and just digitally. I think the vinyl and everything is still coming, but it was a Kickstarter program that took many years. One of those things that just everything that could go wrong went wrong. And anyway, the songs came out. They sound great. He also released about a dozen other tracks that were recorded at the same time that are kind of like bonuses for the backers. So it's almost like two albums in one. Great stuff. But this is the previous album that he's done, and it's just, again, great stuff. More of a modern, alternative, hard and heavy type stuff. Brutal Reality by Generation, CHRG. Generation, one-off type project. It's got Bruce Franklin on guitar. Bruce Franklin, of course, a guitar player from Trouble. He's done some other projects too, but he's on here, and it's got a bunch of different people, and it's industrial metal. Industrial, lots of sound effects and noises and stuff like that. Great stuff from the 90s, reissued on vinyl, I don't know, in the past 4 or 5 years, limited run vinyl. Great stuff, industrial metal. East West. This would be 90s alternative new metal. A little bit of a, I don't know, I'm probably miscategorizing this. I learned about this band a few years after they came out. past their heyday. Wasn't much into the 90s scene, but when I discovered this band, this album still blows me away. Just the groove it's got, and the energy, and the vocals are in different, all over the place. As far as style wise, could be a little bit on the hardcore side, could be on the new metal side. Alternative, grungy. It's got some industrial flair with some sound effects and drums and stuff. Anyway, I don't know how to describe it. I just know that I love it. Great album. East West are Chargers. Ritual Servant. This is their first album. I showed in a video recently their new CD that came out. So they have a new album that's out. Again, modern band, a thrash, pretty much thrash feel, modern thrash feel. Vocals are decipherable, so it's not like a death thrash. It's kind of a more, just mainstream thrashy heavy metal type stuff. So Ritual Servant, great first album. Second album is great too. And then the last S is going to be Sleeping Giant. Gotta get that pipe sticker out of the way. Recently reissued on vinyl, another new metal band, metalcore. Metalcore, I would say. Most people are going to say metalcore. Got a hardcore feel a little bit. A lot of metal to it. They no longer exist, but they put out a handful of albums which have been recently reissued on vinyl, and just one of my favorite metalcore bands of the genre, of that era that came out. And so, I really dig these guys, and just wish they were still around, but great stuff. So there you go. Chargers, don't hate me. Not into sports. Just for Angel. Check him out. Link below. Jump on board. And I'll see you later. Rock on. Rock hard.